Okay, well, so you don't see God in anything. You don't see God out in the world. Everything's designed for us, like the banana's designed for us. It fits in the hand. It fits in your mouth.
It fits in your butt.
I'm a G, nigga, you don't know about me. I'm a G.
What if when you die you find out that Christianity was wrong and the Hindus were right?
No.
No, I mean, it's the exact same position that you're asking us about.
I'm
You are making this thing that if I die and find out that the Christian God was true, that all of a sudden I'm screwed because I didn't believe. But the same is true if some other idea of God is true. You're using something called Pascal's wager, and it's so fundamentally flawed. In your case, if you die and your idea of God is wrong, but somebody else is in, then you're in exactly the same boat that I'm in.
what I'm saying.
Pascal's wager fails on every single level. It's a false dichotomy. It ignores all the other possible religions. It ignores other heavens. It ignores other hells. It makes the claim that worshiping, believing costs you nothing when that's not true. If this is the one and only life you have, then every minute that you've spent believing, worshiping, every dime that you've spent in deference to a God is wasted.
I need help, huh?
You do need
Okay.
help.
Fine.
I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, but
I'll
what
make
we
sure
don't
that he
need,
gets
what we
some
don't
help.
need is to constantly hear from folks like you that we deserve to be punished just because we're not in your club. There's no level on which that is nice or fair or anything other than bigotry.
I'm surprised you didn't mention that the punishment is being tortured forever. They don't all say that.
They don't all say that. I tend to stay off that point because, then it turns into it's not. I've had these discussions devolve to where, it isn't even really punishment. Some Christians will back all the way down to, it's not a punishment really, you just don't get to be with
kind of
God.
be
At which point I
disappointed.
say, I'm already not with God, what's the big deal? Ma'am?
Yeah,
Denise?
go ahead.
So if you believe there's a hell, and you believe the atheists are going to go there,
Yep.
because why? Your God's going to send us there, right?
No, they
No?
send themselves there by
No.
rejecting Jesus as their Savior.
No. That's silly. I'm choosing right
not
now, I don't
silly.
want to go to hell. Okay?
You
So now
have
your
the
God has the
choice.
option of either sending me or not.
Hang on.
Okay.
Did your God create hell? Yes or no?
She said yes.
Yes.
Okay. Did your God create the rules of the universe, including the criteria by which souls are judged?
Yes.
Does anything happen that doesn't go according to your God's will?
No.
Then your God is ultimately responsible for everything, including the people who he sends to hell.
That is so messed up. I mean,
Yeah, that logic stuff, it's a real pain in the ass, isn't it?
It is messed up, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can we spend a little time on this whole thing of we send ourselves to hell? That is okay. I'm holding a gun to your head,
Yeah.
telling you to give me $100. Don't make me shoot you.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's
That is
exactly
what
that.
that's what that arrangement is. No, that is if Matt refuses to give me $100, he did not commit suicide.
It's why I've used the mafia boss analogy before, because it's why I asked if you thought your God created hell. Because the mafia boss creates the scenario where, A, we can protect you from this stuff, but you got to be making payments. And when somebody comes along to break my thumbs for not making payments, that wasn't my choice. I mean, you're saying that my choice is to make those payments or get my ass kicked. And in your theology, my choice is to accept something that my brain can't possibly accept because it's irrational and without evidence, and then go the step further of becoming worshipful and adherent to this fantasy. Well, I won't do it, because I see what happens when people do become worshipful and adherent to that fantasy. Even if I could convince myself to go ahead and accept the delusion, it is harmful and it is immoral, and your theology is immoral. And what you are saying about there being a literal hell and that God gets to wash his hands of it, it's all completely immoral. You have lost your own sense of dignity, self-respect, humanity, and morality. Why do you dismiss, for example, the Quran? Why don't you get your information from the Quran as opposed? Why aren't you a Muslim?
Well, because the Muslim religion was founded by a pedophile.
Okay? And your religion was founded by a band of murdering, raping, pillaging Jews.
That's offensive.
Yeah, I think that anybody who advocates slavery, endorses slavery, is morally inferior. I think that anybody who advocates genocide and slaughter is morally inferior. I think that anybody who advocates infinite punishment or infinite reward for finite crimes and deeds is morally inferior. I think that anybody who is supposedly omniscient and omnipotent and omnibenevolent, who creates a system knowing that people are going to not be able to live up to his standards, spends an eternity punishing them, trying to correct his mistakes over and over again. He creates Adam and Eve, they fail, he banishes them out of the garden, then there's the Tower of Babel, then there's the flood, and then there's all the, well actually there's the flood and then the Tower of Babel, sorry I got that backwards. It's failure after failure after failure after failure after failure, and then finally it culminates in the only loophole that the creator of all the laws of the universe can come up with. Why didn't he just forgive everybody or change the laws? But instead he has to create a loophole where he comes down bodily and sacrifices himself to act as a loophole for a rule that he created. It's absurd. It is laughably absurd, and it's immoral.
How do you explain believing in something you don't see? Because gravity we can't see. I didn't see that. I didn't see gravity.
You know, saying love your neighbor in one passage and saying kill the people, and there's a passage that says that if anybody tries to lead you to another god, including your wife, yours should be the first hand on them to put them to death. So you've got one passage that tells you to kill somebody who leads you to another god, and another passage that tells you to love them. Now, which one do you follow and why?
The love.
Why?
Why?
It's just like an instinct.
Okay. Well, I'll praise you for having instincts that seem to be more moral than the contrary. But it seems to me that if you're just going to go on instinct, why do you believe anything about the Bible or this God or Jesus or whatever if you have given yourself the authority to go through and pick the parts of the book that you instinctively feel are true?
So maybe I should just trust myself, not even listen to the Bible.
Amen.
There you go.
Everybody here is clapping for you, Mark. Everybody.